Oregon fans traveled the last time you guys played at Levi's, and did you almost treat it like a test run for what you might expect if you were to go back again?
Well, when you look across the Pac-12, we probably travel as well as anybody. We certainly hear that from our peers when we show up, and we sense that when we're in the venues. And we've always had a great contingent in the Bay Area, those that travel from Oregon, as well as a strong alumni base in the area. So, a few years ago when we played at Cal, we had 9,000 or 10,000. We had a very strong presence at Levi Stadium when we played Cal on a Friday night. So we're expecting our passionate fans to show up again.
And how many tickets did you guys get?
The allotments per the Pac-12 requirements were 3,500. So we blew through those quickly ourselves, and so now our fans are buying them directly from Levi Stadium and other sources too, I'm sure.
Rob, what's your thought on the Pac-12 being the only Power 5 league that has a 9-game schedule and a championship game pending how things work out this year? Is that something you'd like to look into? Do you like having that sort of unique thing for the Pac-12?
Well, something that was debated widely when it happened, and we explored a potential Pac-12 Big Ten game to add to that, but everybody knew that being first with 9 and given the strength of the Pac-12 and how it was progressing, that it would be difficult. But as we moved into the playoff era, it was something that we felt strongly about, and we're willing to be first, and it certainly has shown that it can be advantageous in the current format.
Those who are waiting on the phone, do you have a question specifically for Rob?
I do not.
Nope.
No offense, Rob. We love you.
Appreciate it.
Back to Ryan in front.
Rob, I'm sure Mark would like to have this game at Autzen, but how do you feel about just trying out the neutral site for this game, and do you think it's something that's going to be permanent?
Well, first, let me say I'd like to have it at Autzen too. Now that we would be hosting, as we looked at it, the home hosted model was the right way to start for the Pac-12 in a championship game. And again, lots of conversation. But as you look at it, if we were ever going to try a neutral site, this was probably the right place and the right time. We've got a couple of years under our belt, brand new stadium, a partner in the 49ers who built a beautiful stadium who will help market it. And it's as centrally located as you can get in the West. So if we were ever going to try it, this is the time and place, and it'll be an interesting barometer.
Do we have any? You want to go back to Warren? I was just any other questions for Rob Mullens?
Rob, this is to you. We haven't had a chance to talk to you about the new playoff format. What are your thoughts about that and the job that the committee's doing and how the evolution of that has taken hold this year?
Well, I think the committee has a very difficult job. I think the way they've managed it on a week-to-week basis with the incredible scrutiny that goes with it starting in mid-October, I think they've done an outstanding job. First, putting together the committee, they did a great job of selecting people who can represent college football. I like the process. I think a 14 playoff was the right step, and the attention that college football has received and where it stands and its popularity today is remarkable, really. So I'm excited to see how it all plays out, just like everyone else is.
Over to the right.
Rob, to follow up on that, do you think they started announcing too soon? Do you think they need to play some more games before they could know who the best 4 were?
Yeah, I get kind of torn on that question. I do think it starts a little early. However, it is good to have, the fan base and the public talking about college football. Tuesday nights at 4:30 became appointment TV. Even if it was too early, it certainly built the momentum and increased the conversation, which is probably good for the sport in the long run.
Anything else for Rob? Okay, last question in the back with Warren.
Rob, this is a bit off topic, but with the vacancies now in some of the college football jobs, what is your thought on, and is it allowable for a team like Nebraska to contact somebody like Scott Frost? Is that allowable during this period, or how does that work? Well, his name has been mentioned.
Yeah, there's no one way that those things work. What I will say is, for the most part, people respect what's happening and understand what's going on and the time constraints, and will be respectful of that. These don't have to get done tomorrow. And if there's somebody on our staff who's performed at a high level and deserves an opportunity, I think folks will be understanding of where we are.
Not trying to dictate direction of questions, but if we can kind of ring it in a little bit more, those things can go on later on. Again, Rob has a basketball game to go to, so Andrew? Follow up to that.
That's.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, since we're talking about it, has anyone ever reached out about Scott in particular? Not just Nebraska, but he's obviously a hot name. Done a pretty good job, I think, by most standards. Has anyone reached out at all and said, could we in the future talk to him?
It's not. No one has reached out to me specifically on that one. I mean, when I visit with my peers throughout the times when we gather, whether at league meetings or in national meetings, we have these types of conversations, not just about football coaches, but about coaches in general, about people's thoughts and experiences with various coaches. And obviously, given the success that we've have, I mean, a lot of our coaches are going to be on the radar across a lot of sports, not just in football.